D.H. Conley. He just completed his 6th season at D.H. Conley, was the interim coach. This past season they went 11-3, won the Eastern Carolina 3A, 4A Conference Championship, and won the #1 seed in the East. And he just had, obviously, I just said, the interim tag removed, and he's the head coach at D.H. Conley. So it's all you, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure to be here, guys. It's an exciting opportunity for me, but I really look up to a lot of what you guys do around here, and it's a blessing to be able to come and speak to you, kind of share a few things that we've developed at D.H. Conley over the past couple of years. I'm by no means an expert on any of this stuff. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask at any time. And just thank you guys for being here. I wouldn't go on, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't say, you know, over the past couple of years I've worked at Conley with Brian Paschal, who's a great man, and learned a lot of things from him. We've developed a lot of this stuff together, and you know, so that's where a lot of this is coming from. What JP just talked about at Wallace, what they do at Wallace is, you know, a lot of similar things that we try to do, but we just go back to the gun and have done some of those things. I'm going to talk a little bit why we felt that's good. We feel we got a really good player at quarterback right now, and it helps us out a lot as far as that goes too. And it gets us an opportunity to do some of those things. Okay? So we feel at Conley, what we do is kind of unique. We feel it's something different than you get week to week. It makes it, when teams come up and to prepare for us, it's something they got to simulate a little different than they have the past couple weeks or previously. And you know, we do different things, and we feel it's hard. I was just talking to Coach Witecki about, it's hard to simulate some of the things, just like I'm sure what they do on a scout team. And I think that gives us an advantage in some ways. It's hard for other teams, scout teams, to prepare for the things we do and the speed that we do it at. And that helps us a ton. We like to build all of our plays off of one another. We build them up. We're going to key our outside runs, our buck sweeps, our jets, all those things, and then we're going to tie things off of it. All our play actions are going to be tied to our core running plays that we base off of. A lot of what we used to see was just pack them down in the box. Put 8, 9 in the box, and we'll play man-on-man on your guy out there, and we'll see what happens. And that can become frustrating, especially when you're outmatched personnel-wise and you don't have that. We feel with the emergence of our play-action game, it's caused some of those safeties to stay back and cause them to think twice about spinning downfield so hard on some of our motions and everything else that we can set up and protect our running game off of with our play-action game. We like to go out a lot of different formations, do different things out of different formations, but we want to still keep our rules consistent with our guys up front and our skill guys so we can play fast. We want to be able to play fast and think and not have to change things every time we go to a different formation. Things will change from here to there, and depending on how the team plays us that week, we might have to tweak a few things and make those in-game adjustments or week-to-week adjustments. But we're going to stay consistent with our rules. Okay? By going back to the gun and spreading things out and packing it down in there with your traditional wing tee stuff, we feel we have the ability to kind of do anything. We feel we can spread it out and get those guys in space with our slots who also play wing back and take advantage of some number games in there, or we can bring that tight end in and really get going downhill and do some things with that. All right? And a big thing is it gives us the ability to get our guys a lot of touches. I think we had 4 guys score over 15 touchdowns this season just because the ability to touch the ball in different ways and get them the ball in different space, it helps us out. Okay? First thing I want to talk about is our running game. It's going to be with the bread of what we do. We got to establish the run. We got to do those things, and it's going to help us with our passing game. It's going to help stay honest, and it's going to help set up our play action game. Okay, the staple of what we do in our running game is going to be the buck sweep. Okay, it's traditional wing tee. It's the bread and butter of the wing tee, I think. It gets us to the edge. You have the fear of coming down underneath, though, with your trap, your buck, and, you know, it's a good physical play that gets downhill, that gives us good angles that we can get to the perimeter with as well. And now when we back up into the gun, we feel it gives us that extra player. We come into the gun, we feel that quarterback gives us the extra player that we can now make reads off of. We can read defenders and do different things off of a guy that might be giving us trouble. We feel is going to be a player, use his aggressiveness against him, and what he does when we look in film study, and we can come back and step back away from the gun and now read defenders off of our buck sweep. Okay? We'll start with a traditional double wing wing team with a tight end, 2 wings, your traditional buck sweep. Okay? We're going to have our buck with our fullback fake, and we're going to have our buck sweep. I drove this up all out of even front. Be happy to help you talk with anything about other fronts. Just kind of keeps our, easy to talk about our rules and look at some of those things. First thing, like we talked about earlier, is we're going to get a good combo. Setting the edge on this buck sweep is huge. Okay? When we see a lot of problem, and what a lot of teams try to do is string that out. Okay? String us out. We like to go sideline to sideline. Okay? You heard it talking about, if you watch any football games, a lot you talk about what was Clemson trying to do to Alabama. Get them running side to side, sideline to sideline. Wear out those big defensive linemen so then we can crease them up underneath. Well, we feel we can do that with this as well when we're stretching them, and it's going to open up our inside game. But we want to control that edge with that defensive end, and that's the key. All right? Our tackle is always going to block down to B gap. Whatever shows in there in B gap, and then we're going to look to kick the first thing that shows to the outside. If you're playing a cover 2 and that corner's your force, we're going to look to kick him out. If you're playing a 1 high, an 8-man front, or you're rotating, spinning this guy down and he's down there first, our guard is going to pull out there, take his step, get tight into the line of scrimmage, and look to kick the first thing that shows. We just see a big variance of what we do in there, so we don't want to just define, hey, we're going to kick this corner out here. We're going to kick the first thing that shows. Okay? Our center is very important because he's going to take care of front side A, all right, to back side A. All right, if we get a walk up any threat in there, he's going to look to scoop that out, and then we'll depend on our fullback fake and our fullback going through backside A to take care of that backside A gap. Then we're going to pull our backside guard around to fill through off of that front side guard's block. Now, a lot of times what happens, this center or this corner, whoever it may be, this force player squeezes down, and he's going to try to wrong arm it, and he's going to squeeze it tight. We might not get that kick. We're going to pull tight, and if he does, we're going to teach that guard to log that defender and then come around, and then he's got to read that block. Okay, we're going to come in motion. We're going to get downhill. We want to get that back downhill, his shoulders downhill after he takes that handoff and get going. Now, the key to what we do, too, is we're getting backside B gap with our backside tackle, and we're leaving that end alone, letting our waggle, bootleg fake, hold him. He's got to pay honor to that, or if he's not, then we're going to be able to come back and run our waggle all day off of that. Okay, and we're going to get across the field from the backside, go cut that off, which again also sets something up in our play action game. We like to look very similar to that. Okay, gets them moving laterally, all right, and we feel we got good block angles. We're always going to stick with a down scheme out here. These guys are always going to block down. If you get a guy walked up to the outside out here, then we're going to go down to the next thing inside, and we're going to look to kick the first thing outside that wing right out there. Okay, so that's the traditional way we run it. Now we'll come back and we'll get an 11 personnel with ace formation, all right, with a tight end and 1 back. All right, we'll split out that wing out here now, and we feel we have more space to do things, all right, to set other things up with in the passing game. Okay, now it might bring this edge player tighter in here for our kick, all right, but we feel we got more space that you have to honor things. You might play a too high look and spread that will out, slide somebody down. We might get a 9 out here, and this Sam slide into here. However it may adjust. Okay? But we're still going to look to go down from here, down, down. We're going to look to kick the first thing that shows. So if this end shows up in a 9 out here, and this Sam's to the inside, our tight end's rule still stays the same. He's going to go down. He's going to look to go down, and we're going to kick the first thing that shows out there. And then off of that, our guard is going to fill off of that kick. He's got to be tight to the line and look to do that. All right, to fill off it, or if it's logged, if this guy squeezes down hard off of that down block and he's a 9, then we're going to get him logged and look to take it outside. Okay? Now, what we like about this too is our backfield. No motion now. You can't key on our motion. You're either going to line up in it or you're going to be back high. You don't have the motion aspect of it, so it's not as easy to key on that motion. With that, we're going to still, now this right here on the backside too, it can be done a couple different ways, depending on week to week, how you do it, what look you're getting. If we're keeping that same backside B gap, go get that will linebacker, well now that end, we could still hold with the waggle fake, but as now our quarterback's facing the line of scrimmage, he's not having to turn around with his back to the ball to hand off the traditional, all right, buck sweep. We feel he becomes another player, another run threat right there. Okay, so now as this guy steps down, all right, takes a step and gets down to the will linebacker, if this guy squeezes down hard off of that, we got a really good alley to pull off of there with our quarterback. Okay, now what we will also do, say, depending on the defense we're playing, we might not have this guy block here. We'll have him run a bubble. Okay, now as we read and that strong safety, that edge player comes off the edge to play the quarterback, now we feel we have the bubble out there to throw to him as he escape off of that, if that's a possibility as well. Okay? Now, you don't have to read this player backside. You can determine week to week who you want to read. Go into your game plan. If you want to leave him home, stay big on this end right here, and now we know this will linebacker is reading guards hard, okay, and he's really running hard, we will switch our read to this right here. And if he steps that way and goes with that buck sweep, we're going to hit it right up through there through the B gap. Okay? And we will have that. So we feel that our rules still stay the same on the front side. We're staying. We make one little tweak of telling him to stay home in that end. Okay? Making that call. And now we can move up to reading on the second level. All right? And that's out of our ace personnel. Okay? A lot of things that are becoming very popular now is that flexed H-back, that sniffer. You'll see in a lot of ways. And people, I was always curious, how do you tell this guy to where to line up? Where do you want to line him up? You see Auburn, you see Clemson, you see these teams, everybody's doing it now. You put them in B gap, you put them, backside B, you put them in C, you put them there. We tell him we're going to line him up to be successful. We want him to line up depending on the play. He's going to know the rule of the play. We want him to line up to where he can be successful. Now, maybe not as much on this play because of what we do, but we feel we could just bring him right out here, all right, to where that wing traditionally is, and get a good down block, but eliminate some of the other things we try to do off of that. All right, so we're going to keep our same scheme. Now, we've eliminated the tight end out of this. So only, we bring our slot over here. He's going to crack down. That's what's changed a little bit from that. But now what we really like is the edge is shortened. Okay, we shorten the edge right here by bringing that. We're going to get our down block to B gap right here by our tackle. Now, if this end is playing his technique and squeezing down off of that tackle's block, squeezing off of that, that's when we're going to look to get our H-back to come right here and get him logged. Okay, so if he's squeezing down tight, he sees down block and he's taught to squeeze down, we should be able to get this log right away with that H-back. He's got to go right away because this guard's got to get out in front and pull. So he can't hesitate. He's got to be aggressive. All right, if we get that and we get that log, we're going to get this guy to crack. He's going down to Sam, just like he was a tight end. He's going to go crack on that, and we're going to kick the first thing it shows. All right, and then Phil, off of that, either from Mike Backer, if Mike's staying home, we feel good, and now we got really good numbers coming around. Okay, so we got that coming around. Now, you say, well, that end is going to run upfield. If that end runs upfield, he's not squeezing down. All right, and we'll talk about another play in just a second, but it sets up a lot of things. If that end is widening to that buck sweep still, then we feel it gives us power, where you can now kick out with that H-back. He wants to turn out field. We can kick him out and run up underneath with the backside guard doubling down. You can run power read with that quarterback, all right, and just leave him and veer release him outside and now read that player. And we can also run counter back underneath with that H-back flexed in there. Okay, we can bring him, run your counter back to the open side, fill in there, which I'll show you here in just a second. All right, so that is how we will run it with the H-back. You could line them up out here and to be successful, to give you that end, but then I think if you line them up out there outside of B-gap, you lose that ability if he's wide and to turn that end out and get that power run up underneath. Okay, then we always have this we can have on the backside. The quarterback is facing the line of scrimmage. Now he's going to ride that. If he feels that in crash, we feel we got an athlete back here that he's going to expose that. Okay, or we can again come back and we can stay big on him, and if he pulls, we can go right through there. All right, I think this is a very successful block right here. You got a good angle, you got really got high priority to get that. You just really got to get that in taken care of right there, and you got really good angles. All right, we'll also run it out of empty set. Coming back, bringing out a motion. All right, what we do out of our empty set, we get trips over here. Okay, now it becomes, how are they going to play this? How's the defense going to play this? Are they going to take the too high look? Or are they going to walk that Sam out over this slot player? Are they going to keep him? How are they going to play it? We always have to figure that out week to week. All right, going in based off a scheme, what we're going to think they're going to do. All right, and then we go with it. All right, we still keep our same rules. Coming down, we're going to kick that in now if he's running up the field. And this guy's got to be ready now to stick his foot in the ground and get downhill. All right, but we force the defense to run laterally. He's going to see that motion and widen out some. We get that kick, we can stick it right downhill. Now that safety's already declared his roll down again because he's over this right here, and now we got that blocked as well. All right, and we like play action off of that. All right, if he slides out into a 7 or he slides inside, then we're going to block him down and we'll look to kick the Sam over the top. All right. All right, off of that, the counter I was just talking about, off the flex, buck sweep, we'll run quarterback counter back to the open side, where now we get the same simulation of that going to the play side. We're running buck sweep, we got that. Now we're going to combo back to the backside, take care of that 3 technique, get our guard to pull and kick. We'll stay home on the end with our tackle. H-back will fill back through there, and we like the numbers we get through there. That's just another example of a play we can run off of our buck sweep, besides your traditional guard trap, which is a great play. What we like about guard trap, and I'm sure Coach can attest this, even if people are stuffing it in there on guard trap, we're going to run it. All right, because it holds you accountable. It holds this mic to stay home on that. All right, so we can still work on, the defense has to honor that fake and everything else. All right, so we can still try to get the edge. All right, any questions about any of that? Okay, a lot of what we do is depending off of our jet sweep as well. Our jet sweep, and we will run a couple different ways. We run a lot of it. Our jet motion, we're going to try to get the defense from sideline to sideline again and increase them up inside. I think those isolations, your traditional wing tee belly, off underneath of it is a good, successful running play downhill when you're successful on jet sweep. Jet sweep gets the ball on the perimeter. It's a lot of ways like your bubble screens and everything else, but more secure way of handing it off. All right, we're going to reach all the way on jet sweep. All right, we're going to reach, and sometimes we got to reach till the cows come home because people are going to get wide, and it becomes a problem. All right, but we like to be able to, then we know we can come back underneath if you're really rotating hard over the top of that. Okay, it gives us creases to penetrate with our inside game, and if they're running really hard, really like it on the goal line because you get running laterally and then you stick that foot in the ground, you're going to get 2 to 3 positive down there. Creates a good cutback, what you could see on that previous film of Wallace, all those cutback runs off your jet sweep because you get such hard flow, you get such hard rotation down by the safety, you can stick that foot in the ground and get right back down, right back across the field against the flow of the defense. All right? Our offensive linemen do not have to sustain blocks, all right, for a long period of time. We feel they get that hand on, get a good piece, get good leverage. We're going to have enough speed to get by it and get around the edge. All right? And we can do it out of a lot of different formations. We'll run it to the tight end. We'll run it and away from the back so we can run trap behind it, different things. All right, and we'll run it to the back and we'll run isolation behind it, away from the tight end. Okay, the traditional, all right, to the tight end. All right, you got to get that extra guard out in front. Okay, because you're going to get some type of flow, you're going to get some type of rotation down. We got to get that guard out in front. we're going to pull him, and we're not going to block that 3 technique. We're going to beat him with speed. And if he's running that far, that wide out, and he's going out there, then we know we're going to be able to run trap up underneath him. Okay, so we're not going to block that. We're going to beat that with speed around the edge. We're going to get a good reach block by this tight end. Look for this tackle to get up. All right, get that reach. Run our fake behind. All right, and then you got your waggle back underneath it. Your waggle bootleg fake behind him. All right. A lot of times this defense will over-pursue, overrun, give us a nice, good crease. Sometimes it hits huge. All right, you get outside, this guy squeezes down too tight, we get him long, we get around the outside, and it hits huge down the sideline. Sometimes it's good for 5 or 6. All right, and sometimes the defense blows a lot of penetration up, you get it back, bows everything back, and you get nothing. All right, but we feel over the course of time, again, especially too, we don't have the size necessarily to mash these guys and move them out of there. All right, these guys are going to wear down too, and we're going to be able to get those things. All right, and it puts this guy sometimes. Let me say this: puts that guy that might not be used to being a force player, contain guy, puts him in an awkward position. Now I got to come up and be that guy, squeeze things down. All right. Now if we go out of spread 10 personnel, this time we're running it away from that side, we're running to the back side. We're going to get him out in front and lead as well. We can go out of spread formation. We like the edge. This 5 technique becomes a difficult block sometimes, one-on-one. All right, isolated as far as that goes. If we feel he can reach him, then we're going to continue this full back around the first thing that shows. Okay, to the outside, looking for that spin down safety. Looking, all right, if that slot misses on that we'll look to pick up that one. Now, if he's becoming a problem and he's really stringing that thing out wide, then we'll bring that fullback, all right, down and help him get a piece, get out in front of that fly sweep and get a piece of that in so we can continue around the edge. All right, get our guard, who's a guy we feel can run, and get out in front of those things. Backside, we're not going to block the 3 right there, so we're sure as heck not going to block these guys. We're going to create that railroad effect. All right, and now that's where your cutback alley comes. He gets here, they over pursue. Now you got this walled off, and you can stick that foot in the ground and cut it back across sometimes. All right, this will linebacker, this is key. Sometimes we'll crack in here if he's further inside. All right, depending on the safety, the play, we'll look. We might have him pick up the free safety, and the running back come around and pick up the threat that shows there. All right, that's how we can run it out of spread. All right, we like it out of the empty set, back to the tight end side, spread the defense out. Again, this block on this tight end is key as far as that goes, but we do have this guard coming to help clean it up. All right, we're going to look for this guy to take a good hard step, all right, to his outside and take a path to be successful, to go cut him off, not where he's at, but where he's going to. Okay, and we like the numbers, and again, you're getting that hard rotation, hard everything else. You're going to set up a lot of different things in our play action game off of that.
And when you're running it like that, does your quarterback take a read off of that?
Well, you know, we will run a jet read. We will run a jet read to the front side off of that I'll talk about. It's hard to read backside as your momentum and all the speed.
I mean, he's going to follow. Does he follow that?
He is riding that with it, yes, sir. And we'll run trap up underneath with him, and we'll run read off of this end defender, which I'll talk about in just a minute, off of that end right there. Again, if he's flying out of there, he's going to ride, slide, decide, and if he goes, he's going to go with it. Okay, we bring that flexed H back. Now we've lined him up to be successful. He knows we're running that to this side. Whatever, he can slide over here. Okay, he can slide out to a wing right here. We can have him do that. We get that reach. We got another big body, good guy that we feel secure with that can get around the edge and come. Okay, we bring that guard around. Now, if we get a 3 technique, this guy's really fast and he's a problem, then we're not going to leave him alone. You know, I say that. We're gonna keep him home and look to bring that next guy. But if we're getting a nose, or we're getting a 0 or 1, a 2 eye, we're out of there. And we feel with a 3, most guys, we're gonna beat him with speed. But if he's lining up there, we will keep this guy home. We'll zone it up to that will linebacker if we need to. If it's a 4 eye and we need to take a zone up to that, we can do that as well, and we'll run. What we like about this too is, again, your isolation fake up underneath. Okay, the edge is shorter here, and then opposed to the tight end side can string out a lot of the times because it's longer. We get the edge shorter here. We get this edge reached. We're looking to hit that alley and stick and go.
What is your line splits, and do you try to widen the three?
Do we try to widen the three?
Yeah, get a bigger split against the three?
No, we don't really try to. I think if we widen him out, he's got a better chance. We're going to snap the ball as he's crossing the guard to the backside. So the more we widen that three technique out, the better chance he has to shoot that gap and get him. Okay? Now we're about 2 to 3 feet, and we might, if this guy's a really wide player, we'll widen him out some to get that reached. All right, and then we'll look if we need some help in any way. If this guy was a problem, we might have that H-back secure that. If this guy comes around and he shows and he's beating that in across his face and he hasn't gotten reached, before this H-back climbs to the next level, he's going to take that end over. All right, but we'll put him to be successful. We can slide him out here, shift him out here, and now we got a really good angle on that guy. Okay, off of that, we'll run our ISO. All right, wing T traditional belly. All right, off of that, okay, we like it with the quarterback. We like it with the running back. Again, this end is now flying out. He's flying out to the fly sweep. We're going to come back inside, and we're going to isolate this will linebacker. So many times, it's hard. It's very difficult for this end to play, all right, to play that jet sweep outside and then to come back and fight back across that tackles block, all right, to squeeze the hole down here. This will linebacker's also been running laterally to get over the top, depending on how his run fit is, all right? And if he takes those steps and he's not downhill to meet that isolation, we feel really good. The key on this play comes back to this block of the nose and the mic. Okay, and these guys flowing hard over the top. If we get beat across our face really hard here, they can make him play. And a lot of times he's got to prepare for it because you're going to see that traditional slant to motion. Yeah.
Coach, you see 2-2 techniques.
Okay.
Much? They try to take away your pullers. What do you like off of that?
Out of this?
No, your buck in the last play.
Well, we feel we can get that tackle down to a 2 technique still. Now, if he slides into a 2-eye or slides down a little tighter, we're going to try to get that center to the front side A and take him. And now we might cut our split down as opposed to that. If we're getting that and he's trying to really do that to get our center a better chance to be successful on that.
You cross or you don't make an adjustment there?
Not really. Okay, if we got a 2 here, if we got a head up 2 here, we're going to feel this guy can base this up, and we're going to have our center, all right, go up to that, or we'll have him slip and take it over and climb up to the mic. If we get a 3 technique, we can X that. Now this is talking about out of isolation. We can X a 3 technique, or we can fan out. Okay, we'll fan, have that, and isolate up underneath that as well. Okay? That's the traditional way. I like running it with the tight end because that's going to give you, a lot of the times, give you that, out of this base look, it's going to give you what you want. Okay, it's going to give you that nose, that technique right there to be that, and as opposed to the 2 technique. All right, now what I really like, again, we got a good player and our quarterback. He's a big guy getting downhill. We feel he's going to get some positive yardage. All right, we run that same play, but now we get our fullback selling out in front. Okay, simulating that same fly jet action, flying out in front, blocking for him. Again, getting this guy to work and cheat that way, get that turnout, and now your quarterback's hitting it up inside. Again, another advantage of bringing him back off the line and hitting that same isolation, that same scheme, and going right up in there. Okay, so any type of basic isolation scheme. All right, just getting that turning out, hitting your linebackers, fitting up in there, getting them squared up, and getting downhill. Okay? Again, we'll bring the flexed H back over. You can bring that over and hit him in there, put him where it's successful. You can put him out here to kind of give you that same look to that side. Slide him in there. All right, if you want to keep him in this B gap, he's your isolation guy now. You're running that same, you're simulating that same jet sweep, fullback coming around. Now you can lead back inside with him. All right, and continue to spread the field with different things that you do. All right. Now, out of spread, depending on the front, we can run it with fly motion, jet motion, out of the spread, depending on the front we have. But also, it just adds up. If you're getting numbers in the box, you can keep your same scheme that you're running isolation with and just run basic quarterback isolation. all right, or bring another back in, all right, and lead and run your isolation off of that, okay, with no motion, without anything else. Widen him out, get good blocks, and go hit that for a good positive gain. Okay, another just simple way to keep your rules up front the same, all right, but spread the defense out and hit it up inside. All right, the trap underneath it, back to the tight end side. Most of the time, again, securing that 3 technique that we like to get. All right, on the trap, we'll block back, get that guard up to that backer. Again, this guy's been used to working sideline to sideline to stop the jet sweep running out of there. All right. If he's a good player, though, he might wrong arm that down block right there, that block, and we got to really work to get him out of there. Okay? But we'll see a lot of times this guy will block himself with a great jet fake. All right, a great pace right there. He will block himself, all right, and get up underneath that. Okay, out of spread 10 personnel, a basic way you can do this. Now, what comes out of an even front becomes difficult is now you got to worry about this end. You don't have that tight end to widen him out and turn out on that block. All right, but you got a jet fake. Is this end honoring that jet fake to the outside? If he's stepping to it, we're going to hit it so fast underneath, we don't think this end can be a factor. Excuse me. Now, if he's squeezing down hard and playing, he's probably going to blow trap up, but we know we're going to be able to get him reached easy and get to the outside on our sweep as far as that goes. Or you can do things, you know, the influence trap people like to do. We're pulling double trap, all right, shooting that tackle down, influencing, blocking, so you double trap. Now you've got that end taken care of with your front side guard. It just depends, all right, on your backside tackle getting to that Mike linebacker, which we really feel we have an extra player there, all right. And again, that's probably drawn. We'll keep him on that end back there. All right, but you got good angles. You could always come back and run just basic trap off of that and read right here. All right, with no motion, with anything like that, back from the spread. Read off the backside. We feel that quarterback gives us that extra blocker back there. You got to anticipate too, though, with motion, this guy's either going to bump back in the box, all right, or he's going to come hard off the motion as well. We're going to get a good eye. That's the one we got to be watching on that play more than this one. What's he doing? All right, but that's going to let us know we got things off of it. Okay, we'll come back out of empty and run it with the quarterback. Again, we're heavy to this side. You're thinking jet. You're thinking those things, and now we can come back underneath with the quarterback banging it out in there. All right, with that same block. A lot of the times this guy will run himself out of there. Okay? And this is a good way I like to run it too. You get your motion to the backside, so you get your spin down this way, your flow this way, and now you run basically a counter with your same trap scheme, okay? Back underneath with the quarterback, all right, back underneath that trap, it turns into a really quick counter, all right? Kicking that 3 technique out, all these guys are flowing, and you hit it back underneath the flow of the defense. All right, with just a simple call of a motion, all right, and you're keeping your same trap scheme up front. Okay, now to our read, jet read, power read, whatever you want to call it. We're going to simulate that power by blocking that kick, getting that kick on that defensive end. All right, instead of having your fullback kick him out, our quarterback's going to kick him out with his read. Okay, and then we're going to take our backside guard, pull him through there for that linebacker on the field. Okay, puts that force player, that defensive end, whoever it may be, in a bad situation. Do I go with the jet? Do I stay home and play the quarterback? What am I doing? Okay, helps us get the edge when we want to run jet sweep. Okay, now that guy will, instead of flying out so much, it will come back down, squeeze down, and now we feel we can get the edge and get him reached, all right, and be successful off a high percentage play and run jet sweep. All right, the keys on this, all right, with that, your quarterback must stay parallel to the line of scrimmage. It's going to hit fast, but he cannot, on his read, work down into the line of scrimmage. He cannot do that because the defense is working towards him, and the closer he gets into the line of scrimmage, the tougher that read is, and the more success the defense can have. As well as the running back. That running back can't start bending it in, all right, off of the end. He has to continue 5 yards outside the tackle before he goes to get upfield to continue to work the width and make that defender decide, am I running out with the back? Am I squeezing it down? Okay, so he must ride, slide, and decide is what we teach him. Ride, slide, decide. So he's going to ride it with that motion, slide, all right, and decide what that defensive end's doing. Okay? Here's your traditional way to run it. All right. We're going to veer release this tight end. Okay, out of this look, we'll veer release this tight end outside. Again, now this guy's fighting a reach block all day. He's fighting to get outside of that. Now you know he's going to widen. It basically turns into QB power right there. Okay, I'm going to get up now. We have our backside guard filling for that Sam linebacker right through there. If he widens out to that, all right, to that veer release and that reach step by that tight end, then, you know, we're going to be up underneath it. If he squeezes down, know that's coming, then we're going to have, we feel we got our tight end to the outside, whether Sam flies over the top, strong safety comes down to lead out around that. Okay? Now, out of this, we've got a fullback really as an extra player here. We'll just have him come down the backside and take care of that defense end. But that's really not a big deal. He's been used to squeezing that or playing contain on the backside. And it hits really fast, so we don't feel that guy has a great chance of getting there. But it does help if you have something that can secure that on the backside. Okay, now you come back, you can run it out of that 11 personnel we talked about running that buck sweep out of at the beginning. Okay, same look. All right, we're going to read that in. Even if he lines up in, we're going to read him. All right, get that veer release, pull around to the backside, now no motion. That fullback's got to be coming as fast as he can across. But he cannot work down into the line of scrimmage, working closer to that end who's coming up the field. If he steps out, if he feels him step any way to honor that jet, then we're going to pull to come up underneath it. All right? And then we got that. If he squeezes down, we got the edge taken care of with that tight end and that corner. All right? And we got space and numbers. All right? That's a way to run it without motion. With motion, it takes the timing. It hits fast with motion. That guy's coming into B gap. He's hitting quick. You really have to work it hard, all right, and take some time to do it, to work on the exchange. All right, you can run it out of the spread personnel, your traditional way people have been running power read, getting that combo to the backside, scooping, having him pick up that, all right. It makes it shorter. That's the only thing I don't necessarily like about this to this side, especially if he's coming in motion, all right. It's great, it looks great, but it is hard to do because that edge is short. That extra gap that tight end gives you, a lot of times with that, makes it easier to give your quarterback a little more time to make a decision. He's not going to have the chance to ride, slide, and decide on that one. He's going to have to, all right, ride and decide, and if that end widens out, then get up underneath him. And then we got the numbers out there as well. Okay, and then we like it out of the empty, what we talked about earlier. Okay, getting that veer release right there, getting those numbers, again, coming in that jet motion, all right, as well. And getting that to the outside, getting out, we got numbers either way. We feel we have numbers on the back, on the front side to the play. Okay, you can bring that H back in. Now this guy's widening a lot. He's not honoring your buck sweep. He's not doing that. You combo down, you veer release with that H back. He wants to widen out. You got a good angle up underneath. Now you can run your quarterback power up underneath that end without even blocking the end, letting the fake take care of itself. Gives you that extra player. Okay? Now, before I get into some of the things we do in the passing game, build off of what we do. All of our things, we stay the same. When we go and we come back to our jet sweep and all those things, we feel we can keep our same rules running it with our quarterback. Okay? Back off the gun, leading around with that back without any motion. We feel we got good numbers, good options on things like toss, speed option. Okay, we can come attack this player and keeping everybody's rules very similar to what they do, but changing a variety of the things we do and things that people have to prepare for week to week. Okay? Now, off of our passing game, we like to, and we're trying to emerge into doing more things in our passing game. And we feel spread it out and giving you more of those capabilities does those things. There's no doubt spreading out the field and getting those receivers in space and forcing the defenders into space gives you better opportunity as far as that goes. A lot of the reason we wanted to spread the field out and do that. The key things we'll talk about today in our passing game, all right, is our sprint out. Okay, and we feel it comes back. We reach a lot. We do a lot of reaching up front with our offensive linemen. They're reaching. Well, sprint out fits right into that. Okay, we're going to reach hard and hinge back. We're going to have that fullback, that running back who's coming to lead around the edge like he always does on the quarterback sweep, on the jet sweep, he's going to be our edge protection on that defensive end out there. So we're getting a lot of those things, and really a lot of ways we feel it's giving us a run-pass option with our quarterback. Okay, what's that force flat defender doing? Is he going to play the flat? Well, if he is, then we got a good lead around and we can take off and run. If he's squeezing down and bringing a rush, then we got a good chance on throwing that flat route, throwing whatever it may be to the outside. Our fullback just has to do his responsibility and get that taken care of. But he's been working that responsibility on his fly sweep, on his jet sweep the whole time. Okay? And it cuts the field a half in a lot of the ways, and on sprint out, and it gives you easy reads. You get out, move the pocket, you get outside of the rush, and it gives you good easy reads on defenders out there. All right, just a simple concept. We'll run curl flat out of it. Okay, we'll run a simple curl flat. We'll gap. All right, we'll take our reach and hinge back, reach, hinge back. All those guys are reaching and hinge back. This fullback is coming to protect the outside edge. So if that Will wants to walk down or they bump it over and they want to bring some edge pressure, he's coming to attack that outside shoulder, your basic sprint out protection. Whatever he wants to do. If nobody comes, then he's going to look to take care of that defensive end right there. All right? Now, again, we're in that ace 11 personnel. We put this defender in a bind. Okay? So you want to get in here and play this? Does he want to get out and play the flat? Well, if he wants to get in here and play this, we feel we can pick him up. We're going to sprint out. Now, is this guy going to play the flat or is he going to play the curl? Okay, we got the drag coming back across. He's not going to be typically as deep as your normal drag on your waggle because he's got to get across the field fast. But we also want him to be able to sit in the hole so he doesn't come into the curl space. Okay, we want to leave that window open right there as far as that goes. We feel it looks a lot like our quarterback lead around our sweep. Okay, we can get around and do that. All right, we always can just really keeping a lot of our play action backside rules the same on that with our backside posts. All right, keys with this out of your curl flat concept. Got to make sure your curl is wide enough. All right, as he sprints out, that he is not crossing back over the face where the quarterback's going to have to turn his shoulders hard. All right, to throw back. He does have that check down alley right there. Okay, we want to make sure that flat route, all right, slides past that curl so this corner can't play both and he has to decide. All right, that flat defender also has to decide. He can't drop the hook curl and play the flat. He's got to make his decision. Okay, you can run any concept you want off of that. You know, we can run flood, you can run smash, you can run all kinds of things. That's just one of the basic ones we do off of that, and we feel it comes back again off of our jet sweep and our same running game scheme. All right, we'll come back out of the same spread personnel. Just got to make sure our slot right here knows sprint out's going this way. We got to get across the field, backside post. We got our curl slide right there. Okay, getting the same protection up front.
What's the depth of your routes?
This curl route's going to be at 12 yards. He's going to push 12, back down to 10. He wants to push him vertical for 12, come back down to 10. This one's going to cut it in half to 6. Okay, and he's not going to get upfield. You'll see on the clip I show, if he gets upfield on this, it's going to force that, it's going to make it tougher. Now, if he gets upfield and this guy stays, and you might have the flat, but if he gets upfield, that defender's not going to chase as fast. Okay, he might drop back to the hook curl zone. We want him to chase so we can throw the curl, obviously. But so he's got to declare one way or another. Or this guy's got to declare. He's got to come up and play the flat right away, and he's got to drop back to that zone. Okay? And like I said, this backside drag, he's going to he won't be quite, that's drawn about 10 yards. We'd like him fast, maybe right behind the linebacker depth, fast getting over here because the quarterback is working outside the pocket right there. All right. Same way, out of our traditional look, we can run the same thing. It takes a little wider for this guy to expand, but also you might have this guy in here and give you a more declarative read. Okay, I'm going to move through some of the play actions. I would like to show you guys a few clips. Some of the play action we'll do your traditional waggle and bootleg off of it. It's great. You know, again, this safety, these guys are coming downhill, they're playing buck sweep, they're playing it. And all of a sudden that tight end is not coming to block him, now he's dragging across. All of a sudden this angle route, this guy was coming to cut me off, and now he's taking a high angle to the backside. Now I got to go get that. Now my fullback's coming out the flat, he's not running through there, and If I've been spinning out, if we're rotating hard, that backside post is a really good option. We feel really good about that. Now you got to have a little more time. You got to really secure the edge here. You're going to get that down block to help squeeze that end down and get around. Make sure you got that backside taken care of. Get that quarterback around. And if he has time, we're going to peek that backside post. We're always going to peek this one first. If he's got leverage over the top, we're going to take that shot. All right, and then we'll come back high to low and look, drag to flat.
So you read the corner route first.
As we're coming around, if he's got leverage on that guy at an angle, we're going to look to take that shot. Because the deeper he comes, the more he comes, the further he goes downfield. We don't feel that's a successful
So
of a throw.
you're reading high and then go low.
This one is more, we'll see this. We run it a previous time, and hey, coach, they're running hard. That post is backside. Now, sometimes he'll think he's a gunslinger. He wants to let it ride. He might not even see what this guy's doing. He's just determined, I'm coming around and I'm throwing that backside post. And sometimes you say, well, that's awesome. We'll take that all day. But a lot of times, if you're getting that rotation, you can assure that. But we want to peek that first coming around to see if that's, if we got a chance on that. Because we can hit that running. If he's sticking that foot in the ground, it's about a 15 to 18 yard throw. Okay, we'll come out of here, out of our pro personnel, we're running it, the same look, we're running that buck sweep. Now instead of having that back come down, the key is that seal on the backside edge. All right, we'll shoot him down in here like he's going to block and pivot down back underneath to get our flat responsibility and get that post back over the top. Okay, and out of spread, we'll get our fullback back around, doing those same things. Again, protecting our plays, all right, and giving us different looks to run them. We can run it off a jet, we can run it off a buck sweep. All right, another time, anytime you're getting hard rotation down with that safety, with that secondary, any type of jet motion, any type of vertical route is going to scare that safety, and it's going to help prevent that in a lot of ways. Okay, help prevent that rotation down because of that threat of going vertical. So you come here, your traditional just jet. All right, we're taking that same reach step, and we'll get vertical outside and running that seam right there. And now, if this guy's rotating down, the only chance they have, all right, is somebody carrying out this safety working back over the top in his rotation to take that. And if he is, then we got the tight end right here. Sometimes if you get edge pressure, though, hard edge pressure off that side, you'll have to keep that tight end home to help secure your protection. All right, but also, this guy's either running with him or he's coming off the edge. It's one or the other. And so, again, your concepts, that's a basic way to do it. You can run all kinds of things. You can run a flood concept with that, blowing the top off right there, running your deep intermediate out, and your flat comes. This is always a great check down out of those things. Okay, anytime with jet motion, there's always a great check down coming out of that. Okay, and then that's another way to run it. We'll get that post on the back side coming off of that. And again, you can run any combination you want. I want to show you a couple clips. That's my information right there. I'd be happy to answer any questions anytime. And I'll be here around the rest of the day. You can get that. Let me show a few things to you guys here. All right, here's a look in the playoffs. This is our pro set running that buck sweep. Okay, now we're not getting that safety rolled down. We're getting a wide 9 right here from this tight end. Okay, the Sam has actually walked down inside. He's declared, so that tight end knows he's going to go down to that. Okay, we're going to get that good down block. Now you can see that end does a pretty good job squeezing off of that, but he's tight into the line of scrimmage. He's got that kicked. Okay, he's kicked that, and we're going to be right through that crease. Good path around. That back really doesn't do a great job of following his path around. If he would have stayed behind that guard, he'd probably been better off giving him a better path out here. But he made it work too. Got good block by our receiver down on this side. Okay, a big play for us. Now here's the flex buck sweep that I showed you guys. Again, against this even front. So the key is going to be to get this down block here and get this logged. All right, we're going to get a good crack. We got a good kick out here. We got that taken care of. We like the numbers. So we block down, get that logged by our tight end right there. This guard is out. Now he's a little deep. He has gotten some penetration that's bowing his path, but he's far enough back. We're fine there. Get a good kick. fill around, get that taken care of. Been nice if our slot would have blocked that apex player right there. Make him miss and get around to the outside. Here's another look at the flex. Blocking down. Getting it, coming around, getting that edge taken care of. Getting that kick. With a little crowded, they do a good job trying to string it out. We stay downhill. All right, and get a good positive gain off it. Here's the read that we did. We didn't read the end. We didn't read the defensive end. This week we were actually felt this backer was really coming hard. Felt he was going to be playing those guards. So we watched this linebacker right here. We kept this guy home on that. All right, on that defensive end. The quarterback keyed on this linebacker right here. As soon as he stepped laterally, he exploded through there. All right, and he took those 2 steps, and that was a very big play for us. Helps when he can run like that too. Here's the counter off the flex, just the way we got it on here. The kick, that guy squeezes it down right there. Oops, sorry. This end does a good job squeezing down off of that block. We get it logged right there, come around the outside. It's a good positive 3 or 4 yard gain off of it. Helps protect that play too. Here's a look at the jet to the tight end side, getting a reach, getting that guard out in front, getting downhill. Not a huge play, but again, works that defense laterally, gets them flowing, be able to stick that foot in the ground and get north and south. Anything else anybody would like to see? I'll be happy to, thank you guys. It was a pleasure to speak to you. Any questions you have, please feel free to ask, and glad to talk to you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.